end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, I'll state my case of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Okay, this, I'm not dying. Well, everyone's dying. But it's the end of the year. And at the end of the year, there's always one video that I know people anticipate that they want to see because they tell me they do. I get a lot of questions. Will it be a good video? Will it be good? Will it be a good? Will it be a good video? Yes, there will be a goat video. And this is it. Okay. A long time ago, the goat video, greatest of all time, started as just that. I tried to give an overview of, in my, very much my opinion, these are some of the greatest pens of all time. The focus of these videos has shifted considerably. For example, I now kind of include pens that I just like. Well, that's it really. It wasn't really for example, it's just the way it is. So these videos now provide an overview of the pens that I have used most throughout the year. In this case, the year of our Lord 2021. And that's pretty much it. Let's quickly address a couple of questions that are going to come up in the comments that I already know will come up. Why is there no Mont Blanc? There is no Mont Blanc because I don't own any Mont Blanc pens. That's not a reflection on the pens, but it's a reflection on me. I just don't feel the need to own a Mont Blanc pen. Why is there no Pelican pens? Because I do not own a Pelican pen. This is not a reflection on the brand, but a reflection on me. I simply do not feel the need to own a Pelican pen. This cannot be greatest of all time if there's no Mont Blanc or Pelican or Cross or Diddly Doo or Whippity Wop or Zippity Zap pen. I know. As I just said, this is just meant to be an overview of the pens I have used most throughout this year. Your mileage may vary. These were just the pens I really enjoyed, and I want to share that with you. And if nothing else, I always like to think these videos are a bit of an eye candy type scenario. So enjoy it for what it is. It's just an overview of one random person's selection in pens over the year. Merry Christmas. And in advance, a very happy new year. La 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 la. Lolly. Okay, I have selected 10 pens because I don't want to keep you all day. I'm going to select them at random. It's not best or worst or whatever. These are all pens that I've used a lot throughout this year. There will be some old favorites, there will be some new ones, and that's pretty much it. So I'll talk a little bit about each pen as I hold it up. This is the eye candy part of these videos, I suppose. This is a Leonardo Furore Grande, and this was among the, I think, first run of Grandes that was released, the Furore Grande, I should say. I absolutely love the material. I have always loved the Furore shape a lot. And this material is just stunning. The level of chatoyance that you can see there is insane. And because it's a grande, it's a little bigger, which it's not a secret that I like bigger pens, but so for me that was very nice. So what we have here is the Leonardo Grande furore that should have read furore grande, but I got carried away, so flip it. This is a 14K broad nib, and the ink is Leonardo blue, which I actually really like. Very nice ink, a bit of sheen, but a very intense blue, which I have found to be very, very pleasant. The nib is nice and smooth. It is a nice broad without being excessively broad, but it does put down a nice amount of ink. It's quite wet. There is also the benefit of the ebonite feed, which is very nice. It's a piston filler. I have very, very much enjoyed using this pen. I just find it incredibly comfortable. I know the section, it puts some people off because of the way it looks, but it is, in my mind, very comfortable. So I have really enjoyed this pen. Okay, that's number one. Number two is the Conid king size bulk filler. I've had it for a number of years now, and this is a pen I keep coming back to. It is practical, it holds a lot of ink, which is a good thing because I'm currently using the double broad nib on this, so it guzzles ink like there's no tomorrow. The filling system is cool, it's made nicely, it has titanium parts, which I quite like. I just love this pen. I find it very comfortable, and it's just overall a really, really pleasant writer. Bulk filler king size, that should have said king size bulk filler, but you know, just flip it around. Here, this is going to be a theme today, I feel. 14 karat double broad nib. The ink is Lamy Mango. I don't know why they call it mango, as if like mango. Anyway, mango yellow. It's a cute ink, and I really love, because it's a clear pen, I love a transparent ink in it. To me, I don't know, it just looks cool. I don't know, may just be me. This nib is wonderful. It's very, very smooth. An absolute joy to use without it being over polished. I don't really have skipping issues with this pen, and I just think it's a oops, sorry, knocked over the cap. It's just a pleasure to use. Number 8 nib, ebonite feed again, very, very pleasant. Just in case you're wondering, by the way, my Furore has a number 6 nib. This is not one with the number 8 nibs. Okay, what else do we have? Here we have the Lambrew pens LB6. I got this in 2020. I have a rocky history with the LB6 model. Initially, when I reviewed it a couple of years ago, I thought it was a bit too girthy for me, but I ended up getting one anyway. I loved it. I love it. It's the facets are beautiful. They really show off the diffusion bonded acrylic. The center band and clip are silver, made by hand by Paul Rossi. This is the Passion. It's the red finish. It's called Passion because these are called the virtues. I'm not sure if passion really is a virtue or not. That may depend on which philosophical school you ask, but this is not a philosophy lesson. The pen is big. It has a number 8 Bock nib, which is a medium. It does have an ebonite feed. Although it is a medium, I would say this writes like a fine. I have had it tuned by Mike Masayama, and it is an absolutely wonderful writer now. This is a 14K medium, but as I said, it's really more like a fine. The ink is Mont Blanc Corn Poppy Red, which is my favorite ink pairing for this pen, because this is such a nice bright red ink, and it also actually has a bit of shading to it. In a nib as fine as this, you won't really see that, but it does have a nice bit of shading to it. I think it is just a wonderful pen. Large, but comfortable. It's more comfortable than I remembered it to be. And I just love the diffusion bonded red is just an insane acrylic. It's so beautiful. Anyway, moving on. So these were 3 pretty big pens, but as we all know, size doesn't matter. So I have here something much smaller. I was recently using this again. I do use this pen quite a bit. It's an Enso XS pocket fountain pen, and I just love it. This was a limited run. Excuse me, let me take a sip of tea. Thank you. This was a limited edition. This is titanium. The clip comes off, so you can use it clipless if you want. And what I love about this pen is actually a couple of things. I like the titanium. It's quite light, and it's also not a huge pen, obviously. I like the facets, which just look cool to me. Titanium also ages nicely. It gets some nice scuffs and such, which I really enjoy. It's a simple construction, rubber O-rings. Has a nice pop to it. It posts. I definitely need to post it. This doesn't work too well. But once it's posted, it's solid because of the rubber O-ring. I don't find the cap to spin too much as you write with it. This has a humble steel nib in it, and I completely forgot what nib grade this is. I'm going to go with broad, but it's probably a medium. I just misremember that. But here we have the Enso XS pocket pen. I'm going to write down steel broad, just because I remember it to be a broad, but I could be wrong. And I should have checked that, but I completely forgot, and I do apologize. The ink is my favorite pairing for this pen, Edelstein Star Ruby Red. I love this ink. It's nice, very wet. You may be able to see that it even feathers a bit on this Rhodia paper. That's how wet it is. It's a nice, very smooth writer, but combined, for some reason, the titanium with this color of ink looks very good to me. The reason I like this pen beyond the material and the facets is that it's so small. And the advantage of small things is that they fit into a lot of things. So the nice thing about this pen is that if you wear a dress shirt, which I typically do when I'm at work, this fits into the breast pocket of a shirt without sticking out. And with the clip, it's kept in place too. That I find incredibly useful, and it's something I really like. You can even throw it in a pocket, just a pants pocket. I don't typically do that, but you could if you really wanted to. Okay, so I really like it, and the ink pairing to me is just one that really works, and I don't know why exactly, but it just works. Okay, I'm going to flip the page. I'm now writing on the back of this cover, so you're going to hear some more feedback as I continue. My next pen in the lineup, we're now 4 down, so we have 6 to go. My next pen in the lineup is the Visconti Speakeasy. It's a pen, it's been on my for sale page a couple times, it didn't sell, and I'm actually quite happy with that. Because although it's a weird pen in many ways, I do really love it. It's also bigger, just saying. It's a beautiful celluloid. That blue and red, I think, works really, really well, and it's just strange. If you're not familiar with the Speakeasy, as the name suggests, it has an alcohol theme. There is a compartment sterilized to put a shot of alcohol in. I happen to not drink any alcohol, but, you know, just saying. There is a ring here which you can twist. You may not be able to see. There's a little window there which right now says tequila. You can pick your poison and show what you have in there. There is sake, there's the Visconti logo, there is whiskey, rum, vodka, grappa, obviously, there is cognac, and we're back to tequila. So you can pick your poison and show what you have in there. I think it's a very, very cute touch. The final thing I will say about this pen, just the pen itself, that I really like. because I'm a nerd, is there were 1,000 of these, and this is number 77, which is, of course, 1977 being a holy year. You know why, or you don't. And if you do, may the force be with you. Now, why do I like this pen so much beyond what I've just described? Because it reminds me of a wonderful summer. Scheveningen, the beach near The Hague, was involved. Walking into Akkerman in The Hague, and Paul Rutte, the store manager, as I walked in, saying, "I just got something in that reminded me of you." Then taking out this pen, seeing the pen with the hip flask with the Visconti logo that came with it, realizing the alcohol theme, and Paul just saying, I mean, not because of the alcohol, I just meant because it's a big pen. And I thought that was just very cute and very funny. So to me, there's these kinds of memories too. This is the thing with fountain pens. They're personal objects, and they have a personal history to them. So for me, that's part of the fun, that specific anecdote of purchasing it. Okay, I am going to write with this. Now, I don't mean to be boring, but I put the same Star Ruby red in it. Now, another thing, that's the final thing I'll say about this pen. It now has a gold nib. I used to have a palladium italic nib on it, and I wasn't crazy about it. It skipped quite a bit. I obtained a gold nib, one of the new Visconti gold nibs. So this is an 18K broad, and it was tuned by the great Annabelle at Appelboom. So just saying. The ink is again Edelstein. Star Ruby. I say again, the feedback you hear is because I'm writing on the back of this cover. Okay, it's a very nice smooth nib. I love the way she tuned it. That wasn't a question. I love the way she tuned it. And it's just a real pleasure to use. Sometimes by changing out the nib on a pen, if that is a possibility, you can kind of turn it into a whole different pen, and that can really transform your writing experience. In this case, that has happened. It's much more pleasant to write with now than it used to be. Okay, the next pen. We have 5 more to go. This is an old favorite, but it had to be on here. Here we have the Yardeled Viceroy Grande in the Victorian finish. I keep coming back to this pen. A couple thousand hammer strikes done by hand to create the pattern. You feel the weight of the sterling silver it's made of. It's a wonderful shape and size to me, and it has an outstanding broad nib that is just an incredible joy to use. This pen was gifted to me by John in the UK, who years ago emailed me out of the blue and said, "I always watch your videos, I'm thinning out my collection, can I send you some pens?" And one of them was this one. And I have absolutely cherished this one. It's a lovely pen. I love using it, and it's just an incredible pen. It's not just the craftsmanship that's gone into it, but it also writes absolutely beautifully. So here we have the Yardeled Viceroy Grande Victorian. It's an 18K broad nib. The ink is Waterman blue black, and I completely forget what their name for it is, but they only have one blue black, so you can find that easily. Feel free to leave it in the comments. I found that this pen works very well with dark blues, Leonardo blue, Waterman blue, blue blacks. To me it works with the silver. So really pleasant to me pen to use, and I just love the way it writes and the way it feels and looks. It's just perfect. Okay, we have next the Delta Roma Imperiale, another large pen, piston some say captive converter. It's all fine with me. This was a limited edition for Airline International, this specific clear version. It's number 18 of 25. Big pen. I love how clear it is. It's polished to an incredible degree. The gold trim is not for everyone. I personally really quite like it, and that's pretty much it. A big pen, a wonderful pen, and a pen that I really enjoy using. So, as I said, big, girthy, very girthy section. I mean, here is that Enso pocket pen. So I mean, you kind of see what I'm talking about there. Big pen, very comfortable. Delta, Roma, Imperiale Demo with an 18K. Was it 18 or was it 14? No, 14. That felt wrong as I said it. 14K medium. The ink is the good old Waterman Serenity Blue. Yep. You have hair stuck in there. Let's see if that's better. And this too is a very, very pleasant writer. Very smooth. Pretty rigid nib. But I like it. The writing experience is very pleasant, and it's not for everyone. It is a very bulbous section, but I find it very, very comfortable. So it's a pen that I absolutely love using. It's a little big. Here's my standard pen case, which doesn't really close anymore. So when I carry this, I do need to have a special one pen case, but an absolutely wonderful pen, and I love that it's clear. I've seen them in ebonite. That's how I got to have this. I really liked it when I saw the ebonite model of a friend, but I happened to find this online, and I actually really like the clarity of the material. Okay, we're almost there. 3 more. The next one is the Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra. Armando Simoni Club is now the pen family. This was the first pen that company made, and I really enjoy it. It's Arco celluloid, the Arco bronze celluloid, which I think is a very attractive material. This too is a large pen. It has brass in there, so it is heavier than you might expect. It has a pneumatic filler. They call it a compressor. It has a sack in there. You pull this out. Anyway, you can watch the review if you want to learn more about it. It has very nice gold detail, and then it has their number 8 Magic Flex nib. This is the 18K Magic Flex with an ebonite feed. So here we have, I am going to write Armando Simoni because that's what's on this pen. This is the 18K MF, that's unfortunate, sorry, Magic Flex, and so it doesn't have a fine, medium, or whatever indication, it just says Magic Flex. The ink is, of course, the one ink to rule them all, B.R.E Brown, and I just love this pen. I love this pen. It's, excuse me, it's large, it's beautiful, it has a wonderful material, a cool filling system, a large nib, and the fun thing about the Magic Flex, this is very quick, not my prettiest writing, but you can actually add a bit of character to your handwriting, signatures, etc., just because of the line variation that the nib offers. I wouldn't push it too hard, but as you can see, you can get away with quite a bit of flex. And I mean, the material is just super, super cool. Right. Okay. Oh, and if you really want to know, you can kind of make it line up. I'm just not making any effort right now because I don't want to take up your entire night. Okay. So we have this. I'm going to tear that out because that needs to dry. I have 2 more pens left. Ooh, which ones will they be? Well, let's see. This is a pen that I have grown incredibly fond of. This is a cross peerless, and this was a limited edition they did for, it's a Star Wars themed pen. This is Darth Vader. There's all kinds of details on it that refer to Darth Vader. If you want to see all that, you can always watch my review. What I find interesting about this pen is it is all metal. That's all fun. The detail is fun. But what I find most interesting about it is just the incredible nib on it, which I think is just really pleasant to use. So here, this is one that I do kind of like to post. Here we have the cross peerless Darth Vader nib made by Sailor. This is a 18 karat medium, and the ink is, I typically have one of two inks in this, either Aurora Black, which is a very intense black ink which obviously matches the trim of the pen, or a bright red ink because of Darth Vader's lightsaber. Now, Sailor nib, therefore quote-unquote Sailor feedback, and I just love it. It is so pleasant to use. It may sound scratchy, it's not scratchy. There's a bit of feedback, but it's a very pleasant feedback as you write with it. I have really enjoyed this pen, and much to my surprise, I find myself inking this up a lot. Very pleasant writer. Nib that's not too broad. I mean, all the double broads is fun, but sometimes you need something to write a little bit smaller, and this pen really does that job. Okay, the final one for today, for this year, I suppose. This is a pen I obtained fairly recently. It was sent to me for review, but I did want to put it on my greatest of all time list for this year, because since I got it, it's been inked up. And this is a pen that comes from India. It's a Magna Carta. The series is Elements, and this happens to be Earth. I find this an incredibly attractive pen. It has a pneumatic filler, so it has a cool filling system. It has a humble steel broad nib, but it writes very pleasantly. I will say, I made that a little wetter. I found it on the dry side when I got it. I'm pretty sure it has an ebonite feed. It really looks like ebonite to me. It's larger, not a huge oversized pen, but it is definitely not a small pen. And I just find it very pleasant. The material is very nice. In pictures, it tends to show up as a bit red. I find it a nice orange brownish color, and I just love that material a lot, not to mention the shape and size of the pen. So this one is all new to this series. We have the Magna Carta. I'm just going to write down Elements. Sorry, this is all messed up. And this is a steel broad. And again, I've said this before, I don't think we should look down on a steel nib. I think you can have really nice steel nibs. The ink is B.R.E. brown again, because I just happen to believe that that goes really well with this material, and it's also one of the greatest inks ever made, obviously. I'm just kidding. Not really. So I just love this combination. I just like it very much. I think it's a very pleasant pen to use, very attractive material, nice size, etc. So I really like it. Okay, my dear people, in all seriousness, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I wish you a wonderful 2022. May this be better than 2020 and 2021 have been. I thank you really sincerely for your viewership this year. It means a lot to me. I've had some really nice interactions with many of you. I hope to be able to continue to do that in 2022. And that's all there's to it. I will gladly see you in the new year. Bye!